Shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, before I get started, like always, I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to our apostles, our elders, and bishops of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well and sound doctrine. Peace, love, and salutations to you. I come out there doing the work with truth and sincerity. So, Brother Zariah Allah down here at the GMS Virginia camp, back with another lesson through the Spirit of Yahweh Shai. And pretty much don't have a title for this lesson, but it's just meditating through the Spirit on the way home, long day at work, uh, other duties and responsibilities of being a man and so on and so forth, and just have to remember that, hey man, we have to still do the Lord's work, no matter how long the day we may have, no matter how we may feel, emotionally, physically, and so on and so forth. The work needs to be done, regardless, period, point blank. Because hey, we have been called into this thing. All right, we have been called to do the work of the Lord of Yahweh Shemi Shai. That's pretty much what our life is subject to. All right, preaching this word, doing the things that are required of us, to please Yahweh Shemi Shai. Okay, and the Lord puts us through certain tests like that. For instance, it's easy, for a basketball player to, shoot when he's, not tired and able to still dribble really good, pass the ball, and play at a high level when he's not tired. But what happens when he's tired? He starts to get lazy, not really executing the plays fully because he's feeling weak. His body is giving in, so therefore he's not putting his all into it because he's tired. He's letting those things on the outside of him, okay, dictate of how he maneuvers on that court. All right, so us being in this truth, we cannot allow the things outside of this truth dictate how we serve the Lord. Okay, it should be no effect. We should serve the Lord regardless if we're going through it or we're not going through it. We should serve the Lord, whether if we're feeling good or not feeling good, if we're tired or we got a lot of energy. You wanna please the Lord in well doing, okay, with enthusiasm and with immense faith, okay. And that's just through the Spirit. Salaki for my rant, but that was just something on my spirit, and I wanted to get Saint John chapter 21, and I started verse 15 or verse 14. It says, "This is now the third time that Yahweh Shai showed himself to his disciples after that he was risen from the dead." It says, "So when they had dined, Yahweh Shai said to Simon Peter, Simon, son of Joseph, lovest thou me more than these? He said unto him, Yea, Lord, thou knowest that I love thee. He says unto him, Feed my lambs." All right. Um, and it says, verse 16, he said unto him again the second time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? He said unto him, Yea, Lord, thou knowest that I love thee. He said unto him, Feed my sheep. Right. And then for the third time, he said unto him, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? Peter was grieved because he said unto him the third time, Lovest thou me? And he said unto him, Lord, thou knowest all things. Thou knowest that I love thee. Yahushua said unto him, Feed my sheep. Right? So with that being said, who is the sheep? The elect. Okay, the elect need this word. The elect need the wisdom, knowledge, understanding to endure Jacob's trouble, to endure the evil days, and to be beamed up upon that chariot, or to be a martyr, which is a witness for the testimony of Yahweh Shai, and pretty much for this word and for the namesake of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Okay, these are the things that elect is going to have to go through. But what they need to be fed. That's why one of the apostles, Apostle Gabar, his channel is named Daily Edification. I mean, you're supposed to be edifying, feeding the sheep daily. You eat daily. Okay, you may listen to videos daily. You're being fed through the Spirit. So you should be putting out what you're giving. I mean, you should be putting out what you're receiving. All right, if you're receiving edifying videos that's boosting up your spirit and so on and so forth, you should be doing the same thing, okay, to the body. We all edify each other. We all benefit each other. Just imagine, if the elders and apostles stop putting up videos, you know, how off balance that will be, you know, and it's up to us to constantly, put up videos so we strengthen the body. Okay, you watch a brother video that give you inspiration to do a video. A brother may watch your video that gives inspiration for them to do a video. But the point being made is that we're doing it in unison, all right, and we're doing it diligently. Okay, because what we are commanded to feed the sheep. This is our job. Okay, and you cannot put your job off to the side. This is the most important job. No matter what job you may have in the world or responsibilities you have in the world, make sure you serve Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, man. Okay, wholeheartedly and sincerely. Okay, because the Lord Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai is watching, always watching. And this is just through the Spirit, man. And this applies to me, first and foremost, because it's coming out of my mouth. All right, now I looked up in Chat GPT. All right, because I read the book of John concerning the sheep, and my spelling is off, but it says, and I was driving, so Salak, it says the harshness of being a shepherd. It says here's a polished, thoughtful piece titled "The Harshness of Being a Shepherd." Right? It says the harshness of being a shepherd. Being a shepherd is often romanticized, rolling green hills, peaceful meadows, loyal dogs, and quiet mornings. But behind this idyllic image lies a life marked by demanding labor. Right? This is demanding. The Lord is demanding, okay, effort out of us. The Lord is demanding us to put in work. Scripture says, "Work out thy own salvation with fear and trembling," man. All right. And it also says, give diligence to make that calling and election sure, right? And it says constant vigilance and deep emotional resilience. What is resilience? Okay, it's pretty much the ability to bounce back. Okay, so if you're knocked down, you're able to bounce back. Like it says in Proverbs, a just man falleth 7 times, but what he getteth back up. All right. So it says um, shepherding is not just a job, it's a lifestyle shaped by the rhythms of nature and unpredictable needs of living creatures, right? So that's beautiful, right? It's not just a job, it's a lifestyle. It's how the way we live our life. If we're going to be a shepherd of the Lord, Yahweh Shemin, meaning a teacher, a prophet, a disciple, and so on and so forth, right? What needs to be happening? We need to live it. We need to breathe it. We need to sleep it. We need to eat it. you know, it's our life. It's who we are, right? So it says number one, isolation and loneliness. Shepherds spend long hours and sometimes days far from towns and people. While the solitude can be peaceful, it also brings loneliness. The world continues on without them, and many shepherds come to know the silence of land more intimately than the voices of others. And it says what? Physical exhaustion. The work is physically intense, walking miles of rugged terrain, carrying feed or equipment, and handling animals that don't always cooperate. Injuries are common, and weather rarely permits a day off. Right, so no days off. What did that scripture make me? What does that make me think of? In season, out of season. Right, in season, out of season. We're teaching in season, out of season. We're feeding the sheep. Right, feeding the sheep, and if you spiritual, you take it in a spiritual aspect. It's just not always cooperative. Sometimes hey, our channels is being wiped away, right? YouTube taking forever to upload our videos, right? We may be in the midst of a video, and next thing you know, we may get a phone call to cut the feed off. It's many different things that may get in the way of us doing the videos, but what we still doing, right? We get strikes and things of that nature, right? And it says unpredictable weather. Shepherds battle scorching heat, freezing winds, storms, relentless rain. Their work doesn't pause for bad weather. The flock must eat, must be protected, and must be monitored. So, period, point blank. It don't matter what it is. No days off. You supposed to serve the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, and feed the sheep, man. Do your lessons, read. Okay, fast, pray, whatever it is, you're supposed to be doing something spiritual on a day-to-day basis, man. The spirit been heavy with apostles going into, doing the work, doing your lessons, being diligent, and so on and so forth, man. Because we're in those times, man, you want to put all your treasures up in heaven. You want to make sure you storing it up because you're going to want to be able to cash it out in Jacob's trouble, okay? You may be down bad, praying to the Lord to get some food, and the Lord going to look back, well, what about the time, you know, when he was supposed to do a video, he was supposed to read and so on and so forth. Yeah, I understand he was tired and sleepy, but he still had a little time to put up something, and he didn't because he was too tired. Well, maybe I'm too tired to feed him, right? You got to think about it like that, man. You gotta keep things in perspective, right? You want the Lord to comfort you, but you don't want to put in the time and sacrifice to serve the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai. That's not how it works. That's not how love works. Love is give and take. Okay, it's other conditions. It's an action. All right. So if you really love the Lord, just like how Yahweh Shai was asking David, you're gonna feed the sheep. You're gonna do the things that's appointed unto you. Okay, you have been given responsibilities and duties, and you have to fulfill those duties. So it's your reasonable. It's the least you can do. You know. It's the least you can do. And then it says, not verse, Salaki. It says number 4. It says responsibility for living beings. A shepherd is responsible for every animal in care. Illness, predators, accidents, and births can occur at any time. A single moment of unattention can mean losing a sheep or a whole flock, right? And that's beautiful because we mentioned at camp earlier, attending to the fire that's within us. Because this fire that's lit within us, okay, is likened unto pretty much us having this wisdom, understanding the truth, right? So this fire that's in us, we have to tend to it. And how do we keep our candle or our fire lit? Okay, you have to feed it some wood, right? The oil makes it last long. You gotta make sure your oil's refreshed, right? You gotta maybe blow on it, whatever however the ins and outs of it. I don't know fully particularly, but pretty much you have to tend to the fire to keep that fire burning. Okay, meaning you have to be attentive, right? And you have to take care of the fire pretty much. So you have to take care of yourself spiritually to keep that fire lit. And otherwise, and if you don't, what you're gonna get bored. You're gonna start to slip on your lessons. You're gonna start to pull away from being responsive in the chat. You ain't gonna want to go to camp. You start to get the lazy demon, and next thing you know, you out of the truth because you ain't been tending to the fire. You ain't been feeding the sheep, and you ain't been feeding yourself, right? And then it also says, it says economic uncertainty, and then it says emotional toll. But I'm gonna read the emotional toll. It says shepherds form deep bonds with their animals. Losing one, whether to illness, injury, or predators, leaves a real emotional mark. The land itself becomes a companion, and its harshness can feel personal. And it says why it matters. Shepherds can carry for a profession older than recorded history. Their harshness aren't just challenges; they're reminders of deep, often invisible labor behind the food, fiber, and traditions many people take for granted. Right, man. And this job, all right, this job we ain't gonna take for granted. Period. Point blank. Okay, the world may not appreciate us. Okay, certain people and scoffers may not appreciate our videos, appreciate the things that we're saying. Hey, but you know what matters? Who appreciates it? The Lord Yahweh Shemiah Shine the angels. Okay, because they're rejoicing, seeing us putting in this work, fighting through all the harsh conditions that we're in, and not giving in to this, to our flesh. Okay, walking in the spirit, not in the flesh. Okay, well we're fighting the good fight of faith because it's worth it in the end. Because we're going to receive a crown, we're going to receive a reward. Okay, so even though everybody else is doing what they're doing, we're going to continue to focus on Yahweh Shem Yahshai and do the things that is required of us, man. You know, always. Okay, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahshai. That's what it's all about. Serving the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahshai, man. Because hey, what? We're almost out of here, man. Matter of fact, I'm gonna end off with a precept. This is Romans chapter 13 and verse 11. It says, "And that knowing the time, that now it is high time to wake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than we believe." All right, and I truly believe that, man. The Lord Yahweh Shem Shai is coming back, man. Okay, so our salvation is coming swiftly, man. Okay, but wait, before salvation, it must be persecution, it must be trials, tribulation, plagues, and so on and so forth. That and the evils that the scripture speaks about. But through all that, the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahshai is going to be with us if we be of the elect, and we call ourselves the hopeful elect. All right, because we don't know until we be end up on that chariot or we be a martyr for Yahweh Bashem Yahshai namesake. So with that, I hope and pray this lesson was edifying to the hopeful elect. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushua, Bashem Rakaha Kodash, and double honors to our apostles, our elders, and bishops, a great millstone, and salutation to the hopeful elect, scattered throughout the four corners of planet Earth. Till the next time, I want to say, Kwame Yasharala, Wafa Babal, Shalom.